Welcome to Houston Sports Talk with your host, Robert Land.
Wah, 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 wah. Oh, my goodness. What a game. Welcome to our live Texans-Rams postgame show. Thanks for checking into the best Houston sports podcast, part of the national Bleav network, presented by FanDuel. All this month, we celebrate Houston Sports Talk's 12th anniversary. Thanks for coming along on the ride and joining me to break it down. Our regular contributor, Tom Chavarria, who co-hosts the Bullpen podcast, but you live YouTube viewers are also a part of the conversation. So hit us with questions and comments as we move along. We're going to check in with you guys occasionally. And Tom, this one hurts. It was a winnable game. The Texans shot themselves in the foot, 2 big turnovers, and this offense looked a lot like last year's offense. 11 penalties for 80 yards. Ugh.
It wasn't what we hoped for. It wasn't what we expected. A lot of the things that we hoped that the Texans had figured out with some of the coaching changes, some of the personnel changes, looked like the same team. A lot of people on social media that I saw after the game felt like some things, didn't happen that they expected to happen. We'll definitely get into all of it. For me, I know it's one game. I'm always trying to be the glass half full guy, but today was tough. Today was really hard to watch and go, okay, I see the progression. I see the vision. Today felt like we were just getting 2024 all over again.
No question about it. Where was Nico Collins? 3 catches to 25 yards, only 5 targets. He was fifth among Texans receivers in yardage. Not sure how the Texans do anything without Mixon and Nico. And Tom, I said take the under on 44 points on FanDuel. It was easy money. Turns out it was easy money, and I can't believe it was 44 points just a week ago. I'm wondering if the Texans will have anything over 42, Tom, in an over-under this season. I mean, 42 seems like a lot right now for the Texans defense and this Texans offense.
To be fair, the Rams defense is very good. So for me, what I've tried to do with watching this game, just like looking at it, I don't feel like they're going to have issues moving the football on the Jaguars like this. I don't have issues with them moving the football against the Titans. So there is hope, but today was definitely something that I thought we could really showcase this team, these weapons, some of these good young guys, and we'll get into the details, but it just seemed like we were watching a lot of what we talked about last year, and they struggled mightily. The one bright spot I love is the defense is as advertised for me.
Engineer says, turns out all the DeMeco and Nick talk over the offseason was just a load of nonsense, and we're going to see how it plays out. I do have some DeMeco criticism before this whole thing is over with. First thing we noticed before the game, Ed Ingram's out, so Cam Robinson starts. Ursery's back at right tackle, Titus back at guard. Then Robinson starts the game with a holding penalty, and you're just like, oh my goodness, didn't we just trade this guy Tunsil? Didn't we just do that? That was a bad call, but then there's a poor communication between Ursery and Titus on second down. So, yeah, I blame the officials on one, but the Ursery and Titus second down, not good. Stroud takes a shot after he gets rid of it. That would be basically commonplace as the game went along. Stroud and Andrews' bad communication ends up in a delay of game right out of the gate, Tom. It's like PTSD from last year. It's the same.
Yeah, I don't understand the thought process with the offensive line stuff, like shifting everybody around so drastically, moving Ursery from left tackle to right tackle. I mean, it was already going to be a lot for a rookie to come in straight out the gate, start day one, and deal with somebody's, edge rusher. But then, an hour before the game, okay, now I'm shifting you from left to right, and maybe all the tape he watched, maybe all the studying he did for the guy he was going to face. Now that all goes out the window, and now you got to prepare for somebody else. I just didn't think it was a great way to establish a rookie tackle that you're hoping will be a corner piece for the future. I really didn't love the move. how they just jumbled the entire offensive line because of one guy being out. What happens, going forward? Like, is this going to be commonplace? Is Ursary going to be left tackle, right tackle? We're going to see Fisher all the time. There's just a lot going on there. And I just feel like you need those guys to be left alone and to gel together to be able to communicate, like you talked about. Moving guys around is only going to make that communication harder.
100% agree. I don't get it. Ursary's the left tackle of the future. Why are you playing head games with him? We did this with Titus for the last few years. It wasn't fair to Titus. This is not fair to Ursary. This is not like a scramble drill. You've got guys that should be able to come in and handle this. Could you Scruggs not play right guard? Is he literally incapable? Is he that dumb? Is he that much of an idiot? Is he that low talented as a second round pick that he can't come in and play right guard for you? I don't get it. It was dumb. Let's move on. Great punt by Townsend after the 3-and-out. Scary moment when Stingley gets hurt on the third defensive play, but luckily he was okay because guess what? They didn't add any cornerback depth. We thought they were in the last couple of weeks. They did not do it. The defense forces a punt. Stroud runs for a first down, scrambles and finds Schultz for a first down, and then finds rookie Higgins for his first NFL catch, a first down. Another big third down play by Stroud to Schultz, but Ursary whiffed on his defender, which meant Stroud got clocked again, this time after he threw for the second time in 2 series. Schultz dropped what should have been a third down completion. But, Tom, I just couldn't get too excited about the drive because the O-line was garbage. So even though you got a field goal, you had a drive, it's like, how can I get excited about this?
Well, I can. For me, you're seeing the offense, I think, evolve. I don't think we saw CJ run this much intentionally all season last year. I love CJ using his head and his wheels to get first downs, to extend drives. I thought that was really good to see. It's like you kind of feel like he has that in his game, and we've just been waiting for it. And that play that you spoke to was easy. It was he wasn't going to take a lot of punishment. He was going to take what he could get, and that starts to drive over. Where in last season, you saw him back there scrambling for his life. Okay, I'm not going to leave the pocket. I'm going to hold the ball, and then I'm going to get sacked. So for me, I love that about what we saw in that drive. Higgins getting targets early, I thought was really good. I thought Hutchinson was going to be the guy going into the game. The way they talked about him all training camp, I really thought that this was going to be a game where he could establish himself. They really just I think they played a lot of different guys just to see what they had, which is interesting because I think they need like answers. They need guys, okay, I don't really want to mess with this and be able to work with guys continuously. Constantly rotating guys in and out. You have different guys, and I don't believe that's hard on CJ. But at least the ball's moving, and we're talking about a team that in the first half anyway felt like, okay, we're close.
Yeah, we're excited about all the wide receiver depth before the season. It's like, okay, you're excited about it? Okay, we're going to take away Christian Kirk. We're going to take away Braxton Berrios. Mechie's gone. All right, we're going to see what kind of depth this team has. And different guys stepped up at times. I mean, outside of a Justin Watson kind of bad drop, and he had a couple of good moments. The wide receivers played pretty decent when they were given the chance. The Texans defense, after that drive, gives up the big pass play, but Danielle Hunter forced a holding penalty, huge momentum change. Thank goodness for that. Pass pressure on third down forces a Stafford spike, and Stroud gets the ball back. But on the second play, here we go again. Ursary gets worked by Jared Verse in pass protection. I mean, we were expecting that, of course. Verse is darn good. I mean, we have to give the guys on the other side credit. Stroud goes down, and I don't know about you, Tom, but I thought they'd give the rookie a little bit more help early in this game. I thought there were times he was just left on an island against, somebody like Verse, and I was like, that's not fair to him.
It really wasn't, and I questioned it. I went out on social media because I feel like this is not how you establish confidence for your young, draft pick that you're hoping that we're building into like the anchor for your offensive line. So to kind of go throw him out in the deep end and go, all right, I hope you can swim. It's exactly what I felt like the Texans were doing, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that approach. It may work out in the end. Obviously, I think things will get easier for him. The game will slow down a little bit. He'll start to see some of these guys and understand, better how to deal with them. But early on, it was just he was getting worked a lot. And for CJ, it's got to be PTSD at this point, right? Like, all right, we think we got things figured out. And again, he's got tons of pressure all the time, very little time to work with. I really thought the passing game just really struggled because the offensive line refused to block anybody for a long period of time.
Yeah, and he did mention, Tom mentioned, he mentioned this on X. He's at Third Coast, Tom. Go follow him during the game. He's going to probably be doing more than I am during games because I'm too busy taking notes. Occasionally I get out there and say something, but usually I'm busy taking notes for this. Before we hit the next Rams possession, I just want to remind everybody, even if you're not watching live, you got to tell us what you think in the YouTube comments later on. Look for our YouTube shorts also if you need a quick break at work, and let your friends know about our live post game so we can get some fun back and forth comments. I want to hear more from different people and maybe some people that are arguing in the comments as well. That's kind of fun too. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube with notifications so you can get updates on the live shows and all our content. You also want to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app. Next Rams possession, Texans catch a break. Bad snap on third down. Stafford recovers it I should say, around the 5, but after the punt, the Texans start in Rams territory. So you think, okay, this is a chance for a touchdown. Chubb finally breaks loose for 14 yards. Here we go. We got something going. Big play on 4th and 2. And Tom Stroud actually quarterback sneaking for the first down, which is a call I don't think Slowick makes last year. Do you?
Absolutely not. I went to X. I'm like, a Texans QB sneak. I love it. There were other people that were out on social media. They loved it. It's something that I feel like it's risky for, the health of your quarterback, but at the same point in time, it's so successful. You almost kind of wish you had more of it. You see the success the Eagles have with Jalen Hurts and the tush push, and you're like, that's a weapon for them. I'm not saying do it to that extent, but on a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, where you feel like your offensive line should win because you know where you're going. Let's throw that in there. And for them to keep the drive alive again, using CJ Stroud and his legs, I think it's a great thing.
On 3rd and 8, Rams blitz. Stroud is sacked. But Tom, I'm going to go right to the guy that I just want fired after this game, and I'm tired of him. Ogunbowale is so overrated by the Texans as a third down pass blocker. He takes the middle instead of the uncovered edge guy. Nothing changes with bad Texans pass blocking until they forget Ogunbowale and either use the rookie Woody Marks, who's a great pass blocker, or the reliable vet in Chubb, who has done this for years, and he's a really solid pass blocker. But forget the fumble that we're going to talk about later. Ogunbowale, out of here. What does he do to make this team better? Nothing.
I mean, I can't speak to it. The team made him a captain, so they feel, and that's voted by the players, so they feel he's one of their guys. He's been a third down guy for them for a long time. I'm very curious as to what the protection situation was, because in the past, we've seen guys come through the middle untouched because running backs have taken the outside and instead of blocked in. This time you clearly see Ogunbowale block in. I know this is CJ now doing a lot with the coverage and where he's sliding protections. So I'm really curious if we get that information, if we find out later that was his call or what happened there, because clearly somebody missed something there, because the guy came off the edge absolutely untouched. But I think this is part of we're going to have growing pains with CJ now calling plays, CJ now calling protections, and we can't get away from the fact that the offensive coordinator, this is his first game ever calling a game. So these are things that I think, while Dare is the easy picking, right? Like, hey, he missed it. He should have been blocking somebody. I don't know what his assignment was. And until I know that, I don't know that I can blame Dare. Now, obviously, when we talk about the fumble later, 100%, that's something that can't happen. He can't be a running back for this team and do that. It was a great play made, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah, and let me just add, there was a play, I can't remember for which possession it was, but it was maybe a little bit earlier than this, where Ursery's out on his guy, and he misses him. Might have been the play where Stroud got hit that I just mentioned. Dari's out there, doesn't chip him, doesn't do anything, just immediately goes into pattern. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't make a note of that because I thought, okay, maybe CJ was supposed to hit him real quick right there, but you could still chip and hit and be out there at the same time. You could still help out the rookie right tackle. And like, if I start seeing the same thing from other guys and it's like, oh, well, then that's CJ. He doesn't know where to put him. But I've seen this from Dare for a couple of years now. This is the same story over and over again. And it's him not doing his job and being in the right spot, but sometimes just getting beat on pass cover, on pass blocking. So anyway, I'm not there. Let's go to the Texans D, who looked great the whole first half, but the Rams hit 2 big pass plays to Nacua. Not sure how he gets wide open on a 2-minute drive twice. Rams finish it on a 1-yard touchdown. One bad series, Tom. Rams take the lead. What did you see here?
For me, it's something that I this is a question I have with maybe it's Miko, maybe it's the defensive coordinator, if that's now more his thing. I know in training camp and preseason, DeMeco said, I'm trying to get away from being a defensive coordinator and being like a well-rounded coach. But there's no way in my mind that you can leave Puka Nacua, arguably their best wide receiver, on Jalen Petrie. You just can't do it. That dude's not a guy that's playing pass coverage for your team one-on-one with anybody. That's not his job. It's not the star safety role. It's not what you want him doing. So whether and this is something that I think is a problem that maybe they don't fix because it's systematic, right? Where we're going to leave Kamari Lassiter where we leave Kamari Lassiter. We're going to leave Derek Stingley where we leave Derek Stingley. And we're not going to move guys around with star wide receivers. And we've talked about this in the past. I've talked about it on other shows and stuff like that, where that's a DeMeco thing where nope. This is where he goes. And that's how I'm leaving it. And you can't do that with a guy that's moving all over the field and taking advantage of your defense in spots where you want to take advantage of. There was a play earlier in the game, or maybe it was like about that time, where they had Devontae Adams on a linebacker. You can't have it. You can't have, now, Toa made a great play, knocked the ball out of Adams' hand. Cool. But that's a mistake where you allowed this wide receiver to be left on a linebacker. You can't do that. Same thing with Nacua on Jalen Petrie. You just can't do it. There's no way they're going to be able to survive doing that. And they have a phenomenal defense.
Yeah, you are correct. And we're going to talk about maybe some situational stuff that is going to have to change. And, we're going to talk about one coach that is a pretty big deal in Houston right now. The Texans have time with 1 minute left on the clock. Big chunk play to Xavier Hutchinson. Good to see him get involved. Holding call on the Rams. Then CJ scrambles with 10 seconds left to put Fairbairn in field goal range. You talked about it earlier. Absolutely agree. CJ with his legs. We want to see more of it. We did. That was great. The whole thing wasn't pretty, Tom, but I thought Stroud had a hell of a first half considering the lack of help that he had up front.
I totally agree. I don't necessarily know how much he's responsible for. I know they're talking about him having a bigger part in how the offense goes and, checking and what he sees and being able to make changes on the fly. But first half, you feel like, okay, they had opportunities to score touchdowns and they got field goals, which if you're winning, cool. If you're not, you're upset. So going into the second half, I'm like, okay, a touchdown here or there, and you don't care about the first half not being able to score touchdowns because they're not going to beat teams kicking field goals.
All right, before we get to the second half, is somebody out there, the Nick Casario of your organization? Well, if you've got people to hire for your company, we know finding great candidates is not easy. You get too many resumes, not enough candidates with the right skills or experience, but not with ZipRecruiter. They find amazing candidates for you and fast. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter's brilliant technology identifies top talent for your roles quickly. Immediately after you post your job, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching tech starts showing you qualified people for it. It also lets you connect with top candidates. You can use ZipRecruiter's pre-written invite to apply message to personally reach out to your favorite candidates and encourage them to apply sooner. Ditch the other hiring sites. Let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, it's the smartest way to hire. Back to the game. Rams football to start the second half. Major breakdown in the secondary. Xavier Smith is wide open, 36 yards down to the 18. Gardner Johnson, the closest defender. Then Stafford hits Davis Allen in the end zone, Tom. Looks like Lassiter and Bullock were in coverage. What did you see there?
I mean, it looked like one of those plays where, got to give credit to the offense. It was good design. I think, it's hard to stop everybody, right? Like, I want them to. At the end, I was kind of like, all right, good play, move on. But you hope that secondary is able to be better going forward.
Yeah, the second-year guys that we've had all the confidence in their rookie year and got a lot of praise. Just, I think they both bit. Good play design. It looked like they got your eyes to focus on one side of the field and got the other side of the field open. It seems like that's something McVay is just so good at in his offense. And Stafford also obviously knows how to play a little bit with his eyes. Good veteran quarterback, 37 years old. Let's get back to the Texans, and they got the ball. They get past midfield, but then Jake Andrews just gets manhandled on a Stroud sack. Embarrassing effort by the O-line continues. More on Jake Andrews in a bit. Obviously, the injury situation, we're going to get to that. Then Kobe Durant, not Kobe Bryant, not Kevin Durant, but Kobe Durant, steals a catch away from Higgins for an interception. Incredible play by Kobe Durant. What about the instant replay review, Tom? Did it look like he had complete control when the football hit the turf on his way down?
I don't know what that is anymore. I don't know how you understand it. If that was a call that they said it hit the ground and it moved, they would have said, okay. If the fact that people in New York or whatever was like, oh no, it didn't move enough, that made it okay. I don't know how that works anymore. It's so. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the ref that on television, he was saying, oh, he had complete control when he's coming to the ground. I was like, wait, he did? He was like still trying to put it up to he had control. Like I get it. You could say, well, there's not enough to overturn it, but acting like the guy had control before the ball hit the ground, the nose of the ball hit the ground, and then just sort of like wobbles a little bit. I mean, it's just like whatever you want something to, whatever you want to see, you see is basically what these officials, the guy in the booth, it's the same thing. It's like whatever he wants to see is what he sees.
I agree. And for me, when I saw the ball move, I'm like, oh, they're going to overturn this. And then they come back and Gene Steratore is like, well, he had control enough. And I'm like, I don't know about all that, Gene. I just don't. I know his job is to try to like smooth it out. Like either, hey, yeah, they should overturn it or no, leave it alone. More often than not, I think he's going to side with the officials being an ex-official. So I don't know.
Dub D says Nico needs more targets. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. No question. Brian M says, do we miss Slowick? I would say a big no.
Brian, go look at the stats for the Miami Dolphins. He's the passing game coordinator over there, and they could not throw the ball a lick.
Yeah, Brandon agrees with us on that. No, we don't need Bobby Slowick. But we're going to talk more about the OC as the game goes along. Toa gets a sack after the INT. Rams punt. Cam Robinson and Jake Andrews leave the game with injuries. Jake's going to get tested. We're going to see what happens there. Ursary moves to left tackle. Blake and Jarrett come in. Fisher immediately. immediately makes his presence felt by killing the drive with the face mask penalty. Tom, Fisher is a bust. I mean, I'm sorry. You keep going, oh, let's wait, but it seems like the more we wait, the worse it gets.
It didn't look good. I don't know. I don't know if that can be, I don't know if he can be salvaged. Maybe they need to move on from him like they did Kenyon Green. But on that particular play, he just absolutely mauled. And the face mask was to keep from getting just thrown into CJ Stroud because he was going backwards and could not stop the momentum. So he grabbed the face mask to hold on for dear life. He was along for the ride. That's all that was.
Rams football, Stingley gets burned by Devontae Adams, but 2 huge sacks by Fatukasi and Will Anderson push the Rams out of field goal range. So the Texans get the ball back, bad field position. They start at the 5 after the punt. Cam Robinson back in the game. The Texans end up in a 3rd long after Pierce drops a wide open screen and gets only 1 yard. On 3rd down, they get within 1 yard. I think it was Schultz had a catch. But Tom, are we done yet with Dameon Pierce? I mean, are we?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I think Dameon Pierce is there until Joe Mixon gets back. And then when Joe Mixon gets back, then either him or Dare, one of those guys has got to go. They're not going to carry all the running backs like that. So we'll see. Today did not help Dameon Pierce at all if he wants to be a member of this team long term. Like they love him, and there's been flashes that he could do this job, but today it really didn't look good. He was 3 carries for 5 yards, which of all the rushers was the worst of all of them. CJ, everybody. Brian made a comment earlier that the Texans didn't have a rush game. I disagree. They ran for 114 yards as a team. And then Nick Chubb had 13 carries for 60 yards, which is 4.6. You take that all day long. I don't think the run game was the issue here. I think the pass game was the issue and the ability to block for it. So that was the problem, not the ability to run the football.
Yeah, it's my thing with Dameon Pierce right now. The Texans need somebody that they can trust in the game, especially with how this offensive line is playing. And they do a pass play for Dameon Pierce. Why not just have Woody Marks? Give Woody Marks that job. Woody Marks came in. That was his specialty, was catching passes. He was incredible in college. You've heard all the people that we've had on this show talk about Woody Marks as a pass catcher at Mississippi State, at USC. I mean, if there was one thing we knew that guy was going to excel at, it was catching passes. And you throw a pass to Dameon Pierce in that situation. And again, I know there's not these huge holes for Dameon Pierce, but were there bigger holes for Nick Chubb? Tom, was he getting bigger holes? He was making something happen with what he had.
I mean, so here's the thing with Woody, right? I don't think that play in question was designed to go to Dameon Pierce. I think that was the check down. I think the play was supposed to go down the field. They didn't have it. He checked down to Dameon. Dameon just had to be on the field when it happened. Woody Marks had 3 carries for 3 yards. So he did not excel at all. Now, I don't think they called any plays for him in the pass game, which is probably, again, a Nick Caley thing, right? That needs to be something where, hey, if you're trying to get this man involved, use him to best suit his strengths. Don't sit there and go, hey, I'm going to hand you the rock and run up the middle and, run into a wall. Nick Chubb is more suited for that. So to your point, I don't think that anybody was used as good as they could have been, Dameon Pierce included, and that kind of hurt the Texans. I really think this game on the offensive side of the ball had a lot to do with the growing pains that we're going to see of CJ being more in charge. That's going to take time. I don't think that's going to happen overnight. And Nick Caley being a rookie offensive coordinator.
Yeah, you're right. It's very possible that it wasn't specifically designed for Dameon as a pass play, but it looked like CJ knew to go to him pretty quickly. So they thought that's maybe how it would develop. At least CJ did. So, yeah, it's hard to say, but it just felt like, this was a game where I don't know if Dameon Pierce was the guy to have in the game. You weren't running the football really well. He's more of a grinder. He's a guy you want to give the ball to a couple of times in a row. You want to get him rolling a little bit. Woody Marks is somebody that I felt like could, be a little bit more involved when the game turns into a pass game. And definitely he was going to be a better blocker. But before we hit the final couple of possessions, I want to help you listeners who are worried about your personal data. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everybody vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity, and anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, but now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is just as important to me as it is to you. I've had issues in the past, so I know it can be a hassle when something happens. Have you ever been a victim of it yourself? Harassment, doxing? If you haven't, you probably know someone who has. Delete Me can help you a ton. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. You get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting HIT to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off is to text HIT to 64000. That's HIT to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. Final minutes of the game. Tom, Rams get deep into Texans territory on another big catch by Nacua. All right. The officials say Alshire's hit and fumble was not a fumble at first, but we got to give instant replay props on this one. They got it right. Way. Yeah.
Yeah, great play by Azeez Al-Shaair. I mean, no better way to try to generate a fumble than to put your helmet directly on the football. And that's exactly what he did. And it was a great play. The Texans had to have it. And it looked like it was going to change the game.
Yeah, great play by Azeez. He had the sack earlier, so he had a couple of pretty good moments. Texans with the ball after the turnover, and they look in trouble on 3rd and 11. But on an incomplete pass, Rams bail them out, picking up a roughing the passer penalty. So finally, a hit on Stroud pays off for the Texans. Get it? A hit on Stroud pays off for the Texans. Too many of them were not paying off for CJ Stroud. So good job, offensive line, for setting the Texans up to win the game. Beautiful read by Stroud on a throw to Ogunbowale for 15 yards. But we get to the moment of truth here. Dari blows it on the next play. And what did you think, Tom? Landman, do we give him more credit for the punch because it was a good play, or Dari for just not protecting the football in that situation?
For me, I question a lot of things on that play. Why on earth would Dari be going to the middle of the football field when you're trying to conserve clock? To me, I think that hurt him as much as the punch, and great play by Landman. That they teach that, that's a way to get a turnover. The same thing with Azeez, same thing with Landman. He wasn't trying to make a tackle. He was literally trying to cause a fumble. And had Dari went to the sideline as opposed to the middle of the field, probably not talking about it like that. I really think he set himself up for failure there. It just, I don't even remember like whether or not the ball was shifting at the time. It was just like, I was so surprised that he decided to cut it upfield and into the middle of the field when he caught it like kind of like out in the flat a little bit. And then Landman makes a play. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. After the game, love that Dari took full accountability. Hey, I've got to be better. It's my job to protect the football. He said all the right things. He didn't shy away from the media, which I thought was great. You want your captains to do that, have accountability, and you hope that that's the last time we see it.
Yeah, I think they weren't worried about the time there. I think the reason why he went to the middle was he was more worried about the yards because they still had 3 timeouts. I mean, we know they had 3 timeouts because when they turned the ball over, they were using their timeouts in that situation. And you want to drain the clock. You don't want to leave the Rams with any time left because even if the Texans scored a touchdown, the Rams could still come back with a field goal and win the game. So I understand that part about it. Dari, though, you put 2 hands. If you're going back in the middle of the field, it was obvious he wasn't going to score a touchdown. You have 2 hands on the football right there, or, the all high and tight. I didn't notice if he had it high or tight enough. But yeah, that can't happen. He's a guy that, again, I just question why he's in the game in that situation. You want good pass catcher, Woody Marks. I get he's played more. He's the quote unquote veteran, but at this point, I don't care. I'm like, I want the guy that I feel like is a really great pass catcher. And Woody Marks is. I want a guy that's a good pass blocker, which I think Woody Marks is a better one, which I've already said. So at least it makes him think about what is this guy going to do? Is he going to hold back? Is he going to be in protection? Is he going to go out? What's going to happen there? Nick Chubb, I would have rather had in the game, to be honest with you, because if we're going with experience, Nick Chubb's got way more experience in big game situations than Dare, right, Tom? I mean, come on.
Well, I think the play was designed to have Dare be a pass catching option. And I know you've been banging the drum for Woody Marks. And he may be the guy eventually. I think that the reason they went to Dare is because what you said. Dare has been there. He's done that. Woody has not done this in a professional game yet. So late game, fourth quarter, I'd rather have the guy that's been in there, done it, versus the guy that could do it long term. I think they protected Woody. Chubb? Well, I mean, I don't know that Chubb is the receiving back like that. I wouldn't fault it because I think, we came into the game thinking he was going to be the bell cow guy, was going to handle all of the heavy lifting, and then was going to have guys spell him. I think they just really felt Dare was the better receiving back. That was a guy they wanted late in the game. I don't have an issue with it. If he doesn't fumble, we're not talking about it. The play before that, he was perfect. It was just, for me, he makes a mistake, and now the spotlight's on him because he made the mistake. I really don't think he played a bad game up until that point. If we come back and find out later, like, hey, CJ had his protections messed up, he was, because the one play where he got sacked, Dare was the guy in the backfield, but I don't know.
Yeah, Chubb was having a great drive. That's why I mentioned it. I mean, he was running guys over. He was running through guys. I mean, he was moving the ball for the Texans. He got that drive going with one good run after another, and they just took him out at one point when he got tired because he was just going one after another after another. I thought Chubb played a really good game when he was given his opportunities. And now I'm upset about Ogunbowale just because I'm not a big fan of his, and you get that. But here's what makes me more upset. You sort of led into this earlier in the show, Tom. How the hell is Jalen Petrie the guy covering Puka on the biggest play of the whole game rides on this play? At some point, DeMeco, and we've seen this over and over again, needs accountability for Petrie covering the best receivers in the worst moments. Go back to the Jets game. We talked about it then. We've talked about, I can't remember, there's another game last year. I'm blanking. There's been so many times where it's like, why is Petrie, it's the end of the fourth quarter, and Jalen Petrie is covering Jerry Rice, is covering Steve Largent, is covering Randy Moss, is covering Calvin. This guy must be the greatest cornerback in NFL history. He's Deion Sanders, I guess, according to DeMeco.
This is not, to be fair, because I think this is something that DeMeco has to evolve into, right? Where okay, I'm not going to let you out chess move me, because that's what it is. You're trying to create mismatches. The Rams are trying to get Puka Nacua on Jalen Petrie because he is the least defender that they want versus Kamari Lassiter or Derek Stingley Jr. It's up to the Texans defense to now go, okay, I'm not going to let you pick on my guy. I'm going to make the moves that I need to make. I'm going to shadow him with somebody, especially late in the game, so that, all right, somebody else may beat us. It's not Puka Nacua. You know what I mean? It's Tutu Atwell or whoever, insert whatever name, a wide receiver that they had that wasn't Devontae Adams or Puka Nacua. One of Kamari Lassiter or Derek Stingley should have been in Puka Nacua's hip pocket all game long. But credit to McVay and his staff, they move Puka Nacua all over the field. Slot, outside, in the formation, moving left to right, whatever. They had him all over the place, to which I wish the Texans did more with Nico Collins. They were able to find ways to get Puka Nacua, their best wide receiver, the football and target him 11 times. I think when you limit Nico by leaving him just, all right, we're going to leave you out wide and we're going to run the same route and, whatever. I feel like not moving him around, not having him across the middle of the field, things of that nature hurt the Texans. I mean, he is your bread and butter right now. That is the big play guy for you. For him to only see the ball 5 times or be targeted 5 times is a crime.
It's too bad the Texans could just follow Puka Nacua with one of the best if they only had one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL on the roster. Hold on, wait a second. I'm checking, Tom. I have just been told that there's a guy named Derek Stingley on this roster, and he's like an all-pro candidate, and he's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And it's 3rd down, and if you don't make that play, and if you don't stop him, the game is over. Derek Stingley, last I checked, according to my phone here, was on the field during that play. Like, I'm sorry, DeMeco. Use your head. Use your head as a defensive guy. Stop the madness with Jalen Petrie. We know what Jalen's good at. You talked about earlier, Tom. We know it. Okay, he's got his things that he's good at, and he's got his things that he's not good at. Look, I mean, I love the guy. Went to Stafford High School, Houston kid. I'm rooting the hell out of him. Don't embarrass my Houston kid by turning Jalen Petrie into Derek Stingley. He's not that guy. He's not that dude. Enough is enough. Stop it. If I see it one more time this season, I'm going to say, get DeMeco out of here. I'm going to say, get DeMeco out of here, because you're never going to win a Super Bowl. Andy Reid will figure this out. Jim Harbaugh will figure this out. We can't go anywhere in the playoffs when your defensive coordinator, your defensive mind, I don't care what Matt Burke's title is, the defensive mind in this team is Andy Reid handing over the offense at a critical time to somebody and going, hey, you know what? We're going to have Patrick Mahomes. We're going to put him out at slot wide receiver because we think that's what he's best at on offense. No, they're not that dumb. Stop it, DeMeco. Enough is enough. And I want him out of here. This is 3rd grade stuff. Get Derek Stingley on the guy. End of story. That's it.
I do believe in that particular moment, Derek Stingley should have shadowed him. I will say this, that Davante Adams looked really good. And the rumors of Davante Adams' demise, it's not what it is. Like, Davante Adams is still a really good wide receiver. He made a couple plays on Derek Stingley, one-on-one coverage, and you tip your cap. Okay, the man's still a baller. He was for years and years and years. So if you told me, okay, Derek Stingley needs to be there, bigger corner, bigger wide receiver, whatever, cool. The fact that Kamari Lassiter was not on him bothers me. I feel like that if it's not Stingley, then it should be Lassiter. And he wasn't. And I think that goes into what we talked about DeMeco being true to, hey, you line up on this side of the field and we're not going to move guys around. We don't like to do that. Okay. But when Puka Nacua cooks you for 10 catches and 130 yards, how do you defend that? You let it happen. You let it happen because Petrie does not do what you're asking him to do well. And you shouldn't. It's no different than last year when we talked about Dalton Schultz trying to block an edge rusher by himself. Shouldn't happen. Should never happen. Jalen Petrie should not be in that position either.
That's the reason why the Rockets probably would have beaten the Bulls in the playoffs, because Phil Jackson used to say, well, I'm not going to double Akeem Olajuwon. Well, guess what would have happened? Akeem would have lit him up. And as a great coach, you make an adjustment or you lose. Now, maybe Phil is a little bit smarter than DeMeco. I have a feeling he is, and would have said, you know what? I think we need to start doubling Akeem Olajuwon. We'll figure it out. We got Pippen, we got Jordan. We'll figure it out. We're going to start using them to double him. But during the regular season, that didn't happen. So I cross sports on you people. Look it up. Look, kids, if get out your
you did show your age.
get out your YouTube and look it up. Stroud, 19 for 27, 188 yards and a touchdown. He didn't play poorly though. I just Tom, I thought he made the most out of what he had today, and I was very happy with him. I thought he made some great throws. There was a couple of times that guys didn't catch the ball. There was the interception that I thought just give Durant credit. I mean, he made a fantastic play. I mean, Higgins got it at the peak and he still stole it. So, CJ Stroud, I thought he was fantastic. Now, if tomorrow I start seeing all 22, Tom, and there's like Nico is running wide open 5 times down the field, then maybe, I'll have a criticism. But right now, I think Stroud was great.
For me, I thought there was like 4 or 5 times in the game where he held onto the ball too long. I think there has to be an internal clock that says, okay, I can't take this sack. I can't take this punishment. We can't lose the yards, the field position. And I know for a fact there was 2 sacks that he took that you just can't take. If it's not there, live to fight another day. Throw it away. And I think as he matures, he'll get there. We talk about CJ and sometimes we forget this is year 3, like he's still a very young quarterback in terms of, quarterbacking.
Is there somebody that we haven't mentioned that you think deserves either praise or not so much praise the other way? Christian Harris, by the way, where was he? Was he on the field in this? Did he take snaps? Did you see him?
I didn't see him. I mean, they definitely didn't call his name, so that's not to mean he wasn't out there. But I mean, I don't think that there was a ton of guys on the defense that I would call out. Like, hey, you played poorly. Tim Settle was in on a couple tackles. Obviously, Aziz was everywhere. I thought the defense played very, very well. Stafford was pressured a lot. It was just, the offense has to help them. 14 points. If you limit a team to 14 points in their building, you should win that football game. I feel like you've done your job. And I thought the Texans defense did their job. I think the offense has to help them out. And we believe that this offense will at some point. I get it. Injuries suck. We're to switch sports, the Astros lead the league in injuries. And, everybody's just upset because they're not ahead of the division by 15 games. And it's like, they're still in first place. But a lot of injuries hurts. It's hard to overcome.
The only guy on defense that I will say a little frustrating was if I'm only hearing EJ Speed's name when he commits a penalty, it's not good for EJ Speed. So I will point that out. A couple times I thought, yeah, Stingley, he got beat, but it's a great throws by Stafford, great catches by Devontae and those plays that I can recall. The defense, they did their job. We're not worried about the defense except DeMeco's decision to put Petrie on some of the great all-time guys in the Hall of. There's gold jackets running down. The guys wearing gold jackets running down the field, and there's Petrie. We're gonna put Petrie on that guy. Gold jacket. Last 2 minutes of the game. Game's on the line. Where's Jalen Petrie? Get him out there. Put him on that guy. Let's get him ISO'd on him. Whatever. In other words, you could tell guys, I'm not happy about it. I'm tired of the Texans doing the same crap all the time, the same bad stuff, the same stuff loses every single time. And the Texans are masters at finding the same garbage to do. Penalties, just dumb stuff on offense, all of that kind of thing. Just let's get rid of that, especially like DeMeco. He's now become synonymous, like Tom, he's become synonymous with penalties. I mean, this is not Raiders penalties either. This is dumb stuff. This isn't, late hits, face mask, personal foul. This is dumb stuff. DeMeco teams get penalized all the time. The Larry Tunsil excuse is gone. He's in Washington. And by the way, he sucked today in Washington, but that's gone. And DeMeco's got to clean that stuff up, man.
The offensive line stuff had a lot to do with it. I think moving the offensive line around the way they did, I'm curious to hear. I didn't hear DeMeco's post game, but I'm curious to hear where that came from. I got to believe somebody wants to know why they moved everybody the way they did, why they put Ursary in the position they put him in as a rookie, starting his first game ever to move him left, right, left, right, left, right. It's just it's a lot to ask for a young kid to be okay. You got to move left and communicate and block. All right, now you got to go and then move right and then communicate and block. Like I give those guys a lot of credit. Like you just can't make a tackle be left or right. Some guys are just, this is their position and you should leave them alone. And Ursary may not be that guy. He may be, but when you start plugging in guys that aren't familiar with other guys, the communication struggles, and then you get the silly penalties that you're talking about. And this starts at the top. That whole thing from get-go should have been cleared up on Friday. The fact that it was an hour before the game, it's a lot to ask.
Give me your Nick Caley grade, A to F. And also just what did you see out there that you thought was different than what we've seen from Bobby Sloak? We mentioned the quarterback sneak. Was there other things that you just saw that we didn't see a lot last year?
Man, it's hard. Bobby got so much time, and I don't want to be unfair to Nick Caley after one game. That's not fair. It's like saying, well, Woody Marks isn't a good running back. He only had 1 yard per carry. I can't do that. Ursary got beat up. I can't go, well, Ursary's a bust. I got to give Nick Caley some time. I thought that there was times early in the game they were in and out of the huddles quick, and then towards the end of the game they struggled. So that kind of is a concern for me. Like, all right, CJ's got the control. We shouldn't be struggling to get the plays in and out. Why are we having a hard time getting to the line and getting a play called before the clock expires? Now, they didn't have to take timeouts, and it wasn't like that. But still, they were up against it a few times towards the end where I thought, this was not going to be an issue because CJ was going to be running this thing from the line. Plays would come in, get him going. Okay, I don't like it. Audible into something else, something like that. He didn't have time for any of that. So towards the end, there was I don't want to say a lot. There was a few plays where, up against the clock big time. So I want to give Caley a C, and I want to say, okay, it needs to be better. Again, tough to go to somebody's house, opening day, all the momentum, maxed out crowd, and go in there and beat them. I think if they do their work early, they're in a better position. Only scoring those 3 field goals kind of set them back. Gave the Rams an opportunity to come back and win that game.
There wasn't a whole lot like bright and shiny with the Texans special teams. However, got to give that group props. I thought Tommy Townsend was fantastic. His punts were huge. I thought that Kaimi Fairbairn's field goals looked really good. I need the Kaimi Fairbairn early in the year to be the Kaimi Fairbairn late in the year, but Kaimi Fairbairn looked good. We had a new long snapper, and I didn't see any issues with the snapping, so that was pretty good. There was one punt that I saw where Townsend, I thought, did a beautiful job, and I didn't catch the number, but one guy was there early and just ran right by the guy, and it cost us about 12 or 15 yards in field position. That stuff needs to get a little bit tighter, but overall, no complaints with the special teams. And Tom, I don't know what you thought, but Jalen Noel looked really comfortable on punt returns. I really liked what I saw from him.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't make any mistakes. I'm not going to say he had some great, return average or anything like that, but I thought he played it correctly. If the ball was going to go over his head, had his heels on the 5-yard line, ball went into the end zone. I thought he did a really good job with that. I don't think the special teams guys hurt field position in any way.
All right, I want you to plug your stuff. It's Third Coast Tom on X, and the podcast is
The Bullpen. Find it on YouTube. Me and my co-host James Roy, we do a pregame, we do a postgame. It's just another opportunity to talk Texans football. We're really excited for the season. I think the Texans are going to be very good. Today was not very good, but I think the Texans are going to be very good. So come check us out on The Bullpen. Just go into YouTube, search The Bullpen Pod. You'll find it, and come check us out.
Fantastic. And all you guys that are out there listening and watching, let me know what you think about the Texans, but also, are you enjoying the content? I love to hear back, what we could do better, what we could do different. if you like it, if you don't like it, just, but I want something. If you don't like something, we can improve on. Don't just say I don't like it. Just tell me, hey, what can we do a little bit better? I'll be happy to do it. What we're not mentioning, if we didn't mention it, we'll hit it next week. We'll talk about it next week for sure. Really want to thank everybody for joining us on Houston Sports Talk, our live Texans postgame presented by FanDuel. And of course, happy anniversary to us. I cannot believe it's 12 years this month. I just feel like I'm what am I, 90 years old now? But yeah, it's been a long time. The longest running Houston sports podcast, and super proud of that, and super appreciative to all of you guys that are out there listening and encouraging us and all that. So thanks for joining us. We'll talk again soon.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.
Hey, don't forget to support us by subscribing and commenting on YouTube. You can always listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast app. Tell your friends about us and share our show links on social media. Spread the word, everybody. Thanks for listening.